You found the home that you want to move into, but your down payment and possibly most of your money is still sitting in the home that you already own. So, which comes first? Hi, I'm Sabrina. I create these weekly videos to help you become at least 10% smarter when it comes to your mortgage. And I know time is valuable, so I appreciate you spending some time with me today. Today, we're breaking down different ways that homeowners can move from one home to the next without assuming that there is a perfect strategy for everybody. Moving is different when you already own a home because you aren't only buying, you're trying to coordinate a sale, a purchase, your equity, and two sets of expenses than the actual move itself. The real question here, which comes first? Sell, buy, or both? Most homeowners aren't confused about wanting to move, they're confused about the order. There's factors that matter, like available cash, current equity, qualification, market conditions, risk tolerances, family, and moving needs. There isn't one correct timeline. There's a timeline that fits your situation. Okay, so start with the numbers. All right. So before you start shopping, you're going to want to look at a variety of numbers, and these all have importance when it comes to home value. Look at a realistic home value. What are homes in your neighborhood going for? What's realistic when it comes down to the market? Look at your mortgage balance. See how much you owe on that mortgage balance. Estimated proceeds. When it comes to selling, there's also costs that are involved, and you want to make sure that you're accounting for a realistic estimated proceeds when it comes to that. New payment comfort. So this is important. You want to look at the new payment, make sure it fits your budget, make sure everything's comfortable, and as long as that's good, you can move forward. Cash available. So there's multiple ways that you can do this. Okay, path one, sell first. So selling first may create more certainty because the old mortgage is paid off and you know exactly how much money you have available. This is my favorite way. I like the thought that I can just sell my home, have the money there, and then just get into the new home. It's a nice, smooth transaction. So there's benefits and trade-offs with each path, potential benefits. So know your actual proceeds. You know how much you have. Just went over that. Avoid carrying two homes, a stronger financial picture, and less uncertainty when it comes down to it. So you have more control in this opportunity. Potential trade-offs, temporary housing. So while you sell your home, obviously you have to have a place to live. So you can live with family. There's obviously you know your own situation. Storage or moving twice. So that's another trade-off. Pressure to find the next home. That's a definite trade-off. And timing challenges. So another trade-off. So you may have the financial side figured out first, but still need somewhere to live. Okay. Path two, buy first. So buy your next home first. Potential benefits would be move at your own pace. You avoid getting into a temporary housing situation. You can prepare the old home after moving, which is absolutely something I've talked about with multiple clients. And yeah, sometimes that does pay off. Less pressure between the closings. Common sense there. Potential trade-offs. All right, so you may carry two payments. This within budget, might not be feasible. More cash may be needed. Okay. So having a plan in place. Qualification can be harder because you're qualifying with two mortgage payments because you're still having to pay that other mortgage. Sometimes we see homes go quickly. I mean, sometimes we don't. Sometimes homes stay on the market for a very long time. And yeah, so it just depends. Right. So buying a home may make the physical move easier, but the financial side gets more complicated. Even when a lender say the numbers work, ask whether curing both homes would feel manageable if the sale takes longer than expected. Something you want to budget and go over yourself and take a deep dive and look into. Okay. Can you qualify with both homes? Just because you intend to sell the home doesn't mean the lender can automatically pretend that that payment doesn't exist. Okay. So with two homes, you have two sets of expenses. You have the mortgage payments, you have the taxes, you have the insurance, the utilities, the maintenance. Okay. All right, so there is another path. Path three, coordinate the transactions. Some homeowners make their new purchase dependent on selling their current home. Others try to schedule both closings that close together. You can do this either way is perfectly fine. Contingency, you just need to talk to your realtor and make sure you know the nuances, the ins and outs, because they truly know the market and are very familiar. Okay. Now, the seller of the new home must accept that offer structure. So if the contract is written that way, where it is contingent, and I've had plenty of these here in the past, where there's a contingency, there may be more phone calls you're making to the lender, more phone calls you're making to your realtor to coordinate things, and definitely do not get your heart set on one thing or another because things can change. So two closings can work together, but they can also create opportunities for the timeline to change. Okay. Using your equity before the sale. So your equity may help fund that next move, but accessing it before the home sells can create another debt or payment that must be reviewed. A bridge or a swing loan can potentially provide funds for purchasing that next primary residence before the current one sells, but the lender generally must document the borrower's ability to carry the new home, the current home, the bridge financing, and other obligations. Equity creates opportunities, but every way of accessing it has a cost, qualification requirement, or trade-off. Build a backup plan. All right, so what if the timing changes? What if the home sells late? What if the purchase closes first? What if repairs appear? This is very common that there needs to be some work done before it actually sells, or and then per an inspection, something comes up. Very realistic. The appraisal changes. So you would be looking at the appraisal amount, and yes, that matters. The deal falls through. Okay. So that can happen as well. There can be a cash buyer that might swoop in and say, "Hey, I'm willing to pay cash, blah, 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 whatever case may be," and the deal falls through. So there's always things you always want to have a backup plan. Okay. A good plan should still work even when the timeline is not perfect. Can you afford an overlap? Where could you stay temporarily? Do you have money reserved for those repairs? What happens if one closing is delayed? How long are you comfortable with carrying both of those homes? Your team matters. The lender understands qualification. The agent understands the offer, the market. You understand your life. And all three matter. Okay. So start that conversation early. Speak with the mortgage professional, real estate agent, title company, financial or tax professional, and even family. I love family that's always willing to help. Right. Questions to ask. Okay. So ask before you move. Can I qualify with both payments? How much cash will I need? How much equity is usable? What happens if my sale is delayed? And what is my true backup plan? More than often, there are more parties that are involved in the decision making. So definitely speak this over with significant other or whomever you're living with and make sure you're all on the same page too. So some more questions would be, do I need to sell before receiving final approval? How will my mortgage be treated? My current mortgage. What proceeds am I expecting after the sale? Because there are seller costs that go along with it too, various things like that. Are there financing options that are available for the transition? What would the new total housing expense be? Am I comfortable? Just not merely approved? So yeah, look at your budget. Selling first may reduce financial uncertainty. Buying first may make the move easy. Coordinating both will give you some of each, but it requires a high level of communication and also a backup plan. The best strategy is not the fastest one. It's the one that protects your finances and fits your actual life. Now, I know some clients that I've had in the past are in a time crunch, and you can only do the best that you can to adhere to that. So, researching is your most important thing that you can do right now to look and see what may be best for your situation, what you may need to hold off on, um, just depending on things. I've had clients with all types of different situations. Maybe they're moving for their job and they have to actually coordinate this the correct manner. I've had clients that need to move to a different area for family, for different matters. It just depends. We all live different lives and we're all on different timelines with our goals and everything. So, you want to look at everything from a high level overview. So selling first, again, more financial certainty. Buying first, more moving flexibility. And coordinating is efficient, but the timing does matter. Okay. So understand first, decide second. So my goal is never to tell you which home to buy or what path that you have to take. My goal is to help you understand the questions you should ask before the moving trucks are already outside. So if you leave today understanding how to move from one home to the next a little bit better than before, then your time was well spent, and I appreciate you spending that time with me. So which timeline fits your finances and your life? Okay. Appreciate you joining in here. Per usual, I have more videos that you can binge. I appreciate you being here. My goal is to help you become at least 10% smarter when it comes to anything, the mortgage, your opportunities, things you have, as I have over 16 years of experience. And like this video. You can go ahead and click the next one here.